Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition. Excuse me. Y'all told me yesterday was hump day, and I fell for it. Now I went back a day. No. Today is not Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. Welcome to a Wednesday hump day edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Restored Motions and RestoredMotions.com. Tigers are number 6 in the updated CFP rankings. If there is one very good thing about these updated CFP rankings, it was that college basketball was on last night, so the ranking show got delayed. Fittingly, the game went to double overtime, so the ranking show got to last about like 5 minutes, which was awesome. So we didn't have to listen to all the mindless, stupid drivel and explanation for why they did what they did, which was really not much except move everybody up a spot and Oregon down after its loss this weekend to Utah. So LSU does go up to number 6. The top 5 remain the same. Georgia, Ohio State. Sorry, I had a phone call coming in. Y'all should have me back there on YouTube. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. And then Tennessee 5, LSU 6, USC 7. So that's that. We'll say some good mornings. I was running a little late this morning. My apologies. So we're going to do sort of an abbreviated show. I'm only going to have about 10 minutes or so. So my apologies for that. So as far as the other rankings, Southern Cal at 7, a lot of people look at that as significant considering LSU with 2 losses ahead of 1 loss Southern Cal. I'll say it again to you, it doesn't matter if the committee decides they want to leapfrog a 1-loss USC over a 2-loss LSU, they'll do it at any point in time. USC this week gets to play UCLA while LSU plays UAB. If LSU's not impressive and USC is, they could leapfrog them, so it doesn't matter. They'll just do what they want. So matters not at this point. Bottom line is LSU needs to win out, probably get some help. So the one interesting thing I'll tell you is Reese Davis continues to be pretty adamant that Tennessee, with 1 loss, not playing in the SEC championship game, he would put in over 2-loss LSU, which would win the SEC championship. And I don't necessarily disagree with him, by the way. I don't think LSU as a 2-loss team is a lock, like some around here do, just because they're the SEC champion. The odd thing about Reese being so adamant is, we've had a lot of people on the show and asked that question. Sean Salisbury yesterday was adamant. LSU SEC champ would get in. Brett McMurphy on Twitter was adamant that LSU as a 2-loss SEC champ would get in. David Pollock on Game Day on Saturday was adamant 2-loss SEC champ LSU would get in. More, there was Russo, I forget, Ralph. One of the national AP college football writer was adamant that he thought a 2-loss LSU would get in. SEC champ would get in. So it's interesting. It's only interesting because Reese is kind of on that, and he's very respected, obviously, but it's just odd because he's kind of on that island by himself, like so hard and fast. And he did clarify, he said, I'm not saying that's what happened just for me. He was saying for himself, he would take Tennessee over LSU because Tennessee beat LSU. The conundrum there, though, is Tennessee, LSU, Georgia would have all beaten each other. And so you could say, well, Tennessee beat LSU. That's true. Well, Tennessee also got put in a 3-hour chokehold by Georgia, and LSU would have beaten Georgia. And, and then you say, well, okay, we'll leave Georgia. Well, Georgia was number 1 in the country, beat Tennessee and won its division. And you say, well, LSU has 2 losses, but they also have the conference championship. So how much do you value that? So that's where you kind of go round and round in a circle. It's not an easy, LSU is the monkey wrench in the whole thing, for sure. Okay, we'll say some good mornings here. Fire away. Again, I'm short on time. My apologies. As always, brought to you by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, and RestoredMotions.com. Morning, Matt. From Bell Chase. First time catching the show live. Keep up the good work. Awesome. Thank you so much. Official Friday. Good morning. Jason H. What's going on? Reed Rule. Morning Scone, keeping the streak alive. What's Reese Davis's deal? Yeah, I don't think he's got any vendetta. I just think he's valuing the head-to-head where Tennessee really pounded LSU in Baton Rouge. And I would argue that if the shoe's on the other foot and you're LSU and you had gone to Knoxville and beaten Tennessee and handed them their own loss, you'd be saying the same thing. Taylor Castanier, good morning. Do you still think Arkansas got the better end of the two-player swap with McLaughlin? Oh, no. Well, mostly because Landon Jackson hasn't really done much. McLaughlin's fantastic, but I think Brooks and Fouché have been so impactful. Now, I would love Dwight McLaughlin on this team. Please don't misunderstand me. I think Dwight McLaughlin would be the best cornerback on this team. But especially considering the injury that you had to Major Burns and the role that Greg Brooks has played. I mean, heck, Greg Brooks saved the Auburn game for you. Joe Fouché's interception against Ole Miss was critical. So they've come up with some massive plays, man. Joseph Feltwell, I don't think we can fire DA because of our draft and cap situation is not good. Would coach want to come to the situation? I disagree, Joseph. I disagree. Coaches, there are 32 head coaching jobs. And every year there are bad jobs. And guys take those bad jobs because they want to be a head coach in the NFL. Sean Payton took, at the time, the worst job imaginable. He took over a Saints team, post-Katrina, a vagabond year. We weren't even sure if you were moving the team. You were coming off a 3-win season, historically bad franchise, and Sean Payton took that job. Now, Sean Payton wanted Green Bay and thought he was getting the Green Bay job. They ultimately hired Mike McCarthy, and so the Saints were Sean Payton's other option, and so he took the job. So that's likely where the Saints would have to go. You'd go to a first-time head coach who's ready to take on his opportunity, and I would actually welcome that at this point over a retread. Stacey Hatt, what's your thoughts on Perkins being a potential Heisman winner for defense in the future? Well, so there is no Heisman winner on defense unless you're talking about winning the Heisman Trophy as a defensive player, which will not happen. As spectacular as he is, every year there are spectacular football players on the defensive side of the ball, and none of them wins the Heisman because no defensive player will ever win the Heisman. So it's a stat compiling offensive award on good teams. So no, Harold Perkins won't win a Heisman, but he could certainly have the possibility to win all the other awards: the Butkus, the Bednarik, the Nagurski, all the best defensive player of the year type awards. ATX, Matt, 2 NIL questions. 1, are NIL incentivized championships, or NIL incentivized for championships? Should they be? I don't know what you mean, are NIL incentivized for championships? Or deal structure where initial contract gets a piece of the pie if a bigger deal inks? I don't think so, no. Like, if Gordon signs a player to a deal, does he get anything if they sign a bigger deal? No. Brad David, thoughts on all the crypto drama? I would love to answer that question, but I only have like a few minutes left here. And I think people would probably rather me get to sports stuff, but I would love to answer that question, Brad. Short answer is I think people need to recognize that FTX is not crypto. FTX is a centralized exchange. The core tenet of crypto is DeFi, is decentralized finance. And FTX is a centralized exchange run by a guy in a company who was greedy and a criminal and did all that bad stuff. Further proving the need for decentralized finance, which is what crypto and blockchain technology truly is. And I hope what this does is it sort of burns the field of the bad eggs or the bad crop and allows for regulation of those really bad people like Sam Bankman-Fried. And as crypto progresses, it progresses in a more stable way. Michael Cook, David Coslin, Trey Fisher, what's good? Brant Roban, good morning. What's the point of conference championships if LSU wins and Tennessee still goes? Brant, I've given you the example plenty of times. 2016, Penn State won the Big Ten, beat Ohio State, but was a two-loss team. Ohio State's only loss was to Penn State. Ohio State went to the playoff. The committee will do whatever it wants. It's my point I've mentioned over and over again. The rankings right now don't matter. Quentin Brakebill, Todd Harris, John Bro. Women have an early tip-off today, 11 a.m. Wow, that is early. Neil Ripley, do you think TCU loses versus Baylor or Iowa State? I do not, Neil. But crazy things happen, brother, in college football. And TCU has been on the brink a couple of times and caught some breaks. But sometimes you need that in a college football season. Let's see. Brian Wynn. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Stephen Dufour. Talking about artificial turf. I'll get back to that. Deborah Cowart, Lawrence Burley, Tyler Alexander, Mark McCarter. Call the priest for the Georgia game. I will. Remind me. Michael Thacker, chance we finish 10-3 SEC runner-ups and miss out on a New Year's Six. It all depends on if Tennessee gets into the playoff. So, Michael, the potential scenario would be if Georgia and Tennessee are both in, the highest-ranked SEC team not in the playoff goes to the Sugar Bowl. There's a chance that Alabama, if LSU loses to Georgia, LSU would drop below Alabama. If that happens, then Bama goes to the Sugar Bowl, and very likely LSU would go to the Orange Bowl. Now, if Tennessee does not, let's say LSU beats Georgia, Tennessee does not get in. Tennessee goes to the Sugar. Then the higher-ranked team between LSU and Alabama goes to the Orange. The other team goes to the Citrus. So the worst-case scenario for LSU is lose to Georgia, Tennessee out, goes to Sugar, Bama ranked higher than LSU goes to Orange, LSU goes to Citrus. That's the worst-case scenario for LSU for the postseason. All right. 802, real quick. Let's see if I can get one more in here. Trivia Carter, Wendell Norman, Alex Knight, Lightworker, Ronnie Duga. Big boy fella. I want LSU to win so they can blow up the college playoffs. Chaos matters. Look, I mean, LSU winning a championship in the BCS as a two-loss team. Bama not even winning its half of the West and making it in 2011 in the BC were things that blew up the BCS. So, yes, chaos leads to change. Jordan McNeese, morning, Matt. Oliver Twist tonight. Yes, Scone and Tea tonight, 7 o'clock, Oliver Twist. Mudbug, good morning. Last defensive player to win the Heisman was Charles Woodson. And the caveat there is Charles Woodson also was a two-way player. He returned punts and he played receiver on that team as well. So not exclusively, but did play a lot of receiver. And he robbed Peyton Manning of the award. So, but yes, Charles Woodson would be the last one and will be the last one. Mike Prima, the recruiting class is looking really good. I think we will another natty next year. I would tell you, Mike, that all centers around Jaden Daniels' decision. I don't think you're winning a natty next year unless if Jaden returns and you have a veteran quarterback. Weston Weaver, Caden Turner, good morning. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for... And then Darren said, do you stop doing nightcap on Wednesday? Yes, because we started doing Scone and Tea every Wednesday night. So I do AFR, leave AFR, go straight to Oliver Twist to do Scone and Tea from 7 to 8. There's no way I could possibly do AFR, Scone and Tea, then come home and do nightcap. I do have a family and a life that I would like to see sometimes. So yes, nightcap stopped whenever I started doing Scone and Tea Wednesdays live with T-Bob and Oliver Twist. Okay, I got to go. And also, y'all, my apologies. Do not yet have LSU Daily live. My apologies for that. I do plan to get it done this morning. I got to drop off Drew, have a doctor's appointment. Then I plan to get it. Then we're recording next week's Rosters to Riches. So I'm going to try to fit it in somewhere in the middle to get LSU Daily done here at some point this morning. So thank y'all as always. Please smash that like button on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. As always, shout out to Brock, HUDCO, Restored Motions. Need North Peters, go to Brock. Need a roof, call HUDCO. If you have pain, book a session with Crystal Poche at Restored Motions. Y'all have an awesome day. AFR 3, Scone and Tea from Oliver Twist tonight at 7, and we'll see you. Peace.